Okay, this is my new aquaponics system. I'm totally novice at this. I got really interested in it about 6-8 weeks ago when I started reading about it online and watching some YouTube videos, and was really intrigued with the idea of being able to possibly supplement or produce all of our vegetation and needed proteins here at our house versus relying on commercial efforts. And if things ever got really rough, we'd have food. So this is my first shot at it, and I've definitely made a few mistakes, but I'm learning as I go and really enjoying it. So this is my fish tank. This is a 275-gallon IBC tote that I purchased on Craigslist. It is food grade. These totes come with they're completely encapsulated. And to fit in the area that I have mine set up for, I had to cut off about the top 5 inches or so. And I just used a bandsaw, actually no, a jigsaw to cut the top off. When this is full, there's about 215 gallons roughly of water in there. I started this system about 4 or 5 weeks ago when I built it, and I bought some cheap goldfish just to make sure that before I bought tilapia, which are in there now, I bought the goldfish just to make sure that if something went wrong or I did something wrong with the water and chemicals or something like that, that I wouldn't kill off expensive tilapia. So haven't lost any of the goldfish. In fact, I'm just amazed in a month how fast they've grown. They've probably doubled in size. Those orange goldfish in there were 20-cent goldfish at PetSmart. They were about 1.5 inches long. Now most of them are at least 3 inches. Some of them are closer to 4. Just again, amazed how fast they're growing. It's a little harder to see them in there, but there is a 130 Blue Nile tilapia in there. They're all about 1 inch to maybe 1.25 inches long. I just got those on Sunday from an individual in Denver, so I'm looking forward to seeing these things grow out. From everything I've heard and read, and people I've talked to said basically in 9 months these fish will grow out to be roughly 1.5 pounds in size. So we're going to have a whole bunch of tilapia to harvest down the road here, and I'm looking forward to it. We just added this the other day. This is a 55-gallon food-grade drum that I was able to get from a friend. Cleaned it out, and I really wanted duckweed so that I could feed my fish. My original goal was to be able to feed my fish 100% off of my own stuff, sustainable, so to speak. I've since read that it's kind of important to offset the duckweed with other things like vegetables and stuff. So I'll be using the duckweed hopefully as much as possible, maybe 50 or 60% of their feed once they are big enough. And the remainder I'll use commercial food with, I guess. So the reason the water is black is it has a bunch of seaweed extract in it. And this is tap water that I dechlorinated, and the seaweed extract is supposed to help provide nutrients for the duckweed to help it grow. Looks like I've got a air pump in here, or air stone, I mean. Looks like I need to raise the height a little bit. But this duckweed's pretty impressive stuff. I probably had this much duckweed 3 days ago, and it's doubled in size, and it really is not getting that good of light right now. I've been told that it can quadruple in size in a week if it has proper lighting. So I plan to, for the rest of the summer, get this tank outside and in some sunlight so it can really do some growth for me. So this is the grow bed itself. This is roughly 7 foot long, about 6 foot wide. I had an existing dog kennel. This is in our garage, and I just built over the existing dog kennel that was in the garage already. I did a little bit of beefing up of the frame just to make sure it could handle the weight of the water and the rock and everything that's in there. But so far it seemed to be doing just fine. Typical 2x12 construction here. This is a pond liner which I got from Lowe's. I think it was about 50 bucks, 60 bucks, something like that. The pump that supplies water to the grow bed is a Harbor Freight pump. It was something like 1,300 gallon per hour, and I made the mistake of buying way too much pump. I don't think you need a 1,300 gallon per hour pump for the type of setup I have. But so I ended up, just to make this all work out, I ended up making some changes. I had to add a bunch of relief valves here, that lets water in, which actually worked out kind of nice because it puts oxygen back in the water. And there's one that's actually down here under the water, and it provides actually somewhat of a current for the fish, which they seem to really like. And it probably helps filter the water a little bit too, I think. But anyway, I had to add those because the pump was too powerful and it was spitting out too much water into my grow beds. And then when I turned the grow bed water supply down, it was putting too much pressure on the pump, and I was afraid I was going to burn up the pump. So anyway, that's a Harbor Freight pump. I think it was 45 bucks or something like that. Really inexpensive. And it's been running continuously now for about 6 weeks. Hasn't given me any problems at all, so it's been good. Most of this is, I think, called a ebb and flow system. That's what they call it, I believe. Which means that water fills up into the grow bed, and then it, once it reaches a certain height, it actually drains all back out of the grow bed into the fish tank again. So it uses what's called a bell siphon, which is an auto siphon that when the water hits a certain level, it starts draining back into the tank, and it uses vacuum to suck all the water basically out of the grow bed back into the fish tank. It's really pretty cool. There's no moving parts. Works 100% on suction. I'm not going to take time to show you how one works. You can do all kinds of YouTube video lookups on bell siphons, and they're really pretty cool. So I actually made a mistake, and this is my first bell siphon, and I used 1-inch piping. Here's the drain pipe that goes back into the tank. And I found that the 1-inch siphon wasn't powerful enough to compete with the flow that my pump is able to put in back into the grow bed. So I actually ended up going back into the system and putting in a second bell siphon, which is the only siphon I actually use right now. And this is 1.5-inch pipe, and it does a fantastic job of keeping up with the water flow and cycling the water. I think my cycle times are, it takes about 8 minutes to fill, and I want to say like 5 or 6 minutes to drain. So from what I read online, I think that's pretty good. The grow bed itself is pretty new. I don't have a lot of stuff in here. A lot of the stuff that is in here originally came from my outside garden. This is mint here, and it's done just fantastic. It's the first thing I put in the grow bed. In fact, I put it in here before I even had fish. And this mint has probably tripled in size in roughly 4 weeks, I guess. It's just going crazy, and I need to trim some of it down actually and use it. It's just fantastic smelling mint. Again, this mint was in my outside garden. It was just a little teeny, fistful of mint at the time, and it was actually looking pretty rough because of the heat. And it's just really flourished in this scenario. I have 2 little things of chive here, and I've actually cut these off. They're growing probably 2 to 3 inches a week in height. So it just goes to show how things grow fantastically in here. This is sweet basil. We cook with this quite a bit. Looks like we need to do a lot more cooking with it right now. It's really growing. Here's some jalapenos from our garden. When I planted these in the grow beds, they were to about here. And they've since at least doubled in height. And again, these have been in the grow bed for 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. And unfortunately, I'm not getting any jalapenos on it yet. Oh, actually, you know what? I do take that back. I do have one right here. A little guy's starting to grow. Cool, that's my first one. So I'm starting to get a little growth. Not seeing a lot of flowering on them yet, and I'm not sure why. Hopefully that changes soon. This is a little bell pepper that's, I'm not sure it's going to make it. It's going to probably give me one red bell pepper. I got this for free at some nursery, so I thought, why not? I'll plant it in my garden or in the grow bed and see what it does. I've got some cabbage in here that I just picked up from a nursery the other day. There's a little bit of kale. This is kind of cool. All these little sprouts that you see in here, those are kohlrabi. And for fun, I thought instead of just trying to start this stuff out in a starter setup with dirt, I just literally threw the seeds in my grow bed and wanted to see if they would grow. And sure enough, they're sprouting and doing great. Same thing with some beans back there. Those are green beans that I literally threw the seeds into the grow bed. And so they've been immersed in water basically the entire time, and they're doing great. Those seeds are probably, or those plants are a week and a half old, maybe 2 weeks. I've got some larger bell peppers in here that you can see. These things have just gone nuts. They've probably doubled. This one here has at least doubled in size in 3 weeks. It's got all kinds of bell peppers on it. So we've got some green onion in here, oregano, tossed in some strawberry plants for fun. That is wheatgrass, and again, I just tossed the seed in there to see if it would do anything, and sure enough. I ended up putting a fan in here, just a cheap fan from the store, because it's hot here in the summer, and I was having some issues with some of my plants in the middle of the day, just getting too hot here in the garage. So the fan tends to provide a little air to them and keep them a little bit cooler and keep the plants from drooping and sagging. Okay, there's the bell siphon. It just kicked on, and as you can see, got just a little bit of standing water in the tank. I may have to adjust my bell siphon and have it start draining just a little sooner. These are some patio tomato plants that I bought full grown, and they were in pretty rough shape when I bought them from the nursery. I got a heck of a price on them, so I thought, why not? Let's throw them in, see what happens, and I'm pretty certain they're not going to make it. I've pretty much pulled all the green tomatoes off, and I've already harvested the seeds out of them and plan to plant the seeds and see if I can make something happen. I don't know if these, when I bought them, if they were malnourished or what exactly happened, but I actually already pulled one of them out, and it was looking pretty bad. So I figure these ones that are red, I'll go ahead and let them finish out, have a few tomatoes, and enjoy those. Cayenne pepper. Some of these Thai hot peppers I got for free at another nursery that was closing out for the summer. There's lots of different grow media that people use, and Hydroton is one of them. Because of the size of my grow bed, and this is my first venture into it, I really wasn't excited in spending probably upwards of $1,000 to $1,500 in grow material. So I had done some reading, and people said that lava rock tends to work pretty good. So I actually used lava rock. I have a full-size pickup, so it was easy for me to just go to a quarry, or actually I just went to a local sand supply place and got exactly 1 ton, which should be something like, I want to say 35 cubic feet maybe, of, no, I'm sorry, not 35 cubic feet, 1.5 cubic feet of lava rock. It cost $50. So just a little time scooping it out of the back of my pickup and putting it in the grow bed saved me a fortune versus buying it in the bags. So anyway, the lava rock seems to be doing fine. It's actually quite a bit lighter than the Hydroton, which is important to me too, because I was a little concerned about the weight of this whole system being on top of this dog kennel. I decided I was going to try and grow some tomatoes from scratch, so in this little tray here I've got tomatoes seeds going on. I think I've got some more green some pole beans in there.